5 Maya inventions that put medieval Europe to shame. What if I told you that while Europe was struggling through the Dark Ages, an ancient civilization had already mastered concepts that wouldn't reach European minds for another 1,000 years? The Maya weren't just building pyramids, they were revolutionizing human knowledge in ways that would make medieval European scholars question everything they thought they knew. Let me blow your mind with 5 Maya inventions that were so advanced, Europe didn't catch up for centuries. First, the revolutionary concept of zero as a placeholder. Picture this. It's 400 AD. European mathematicians are still relying on clunky Roman numerals for basic calculations. Meanwhile, Maya mathematicians have independently developed something revolutionary, zero as a placeholder. This might sound simple, but it was groundbreaking. While they didn't fully conceptualize zero as a number for calculations like we do today, their placeholder system was the foundation for recording complex astronomical observations. Their positional notation system allowed them to write large numbers and track celestial cycles with precision that European scholars couldn't match. While European scholars were copying texts by candlelight, Maya astronomers were using their sophisticated placeholder system to document the movements of Venus across centuries. The concept of zero as a placeholder didn't reach Europe through Arabic numerals until around 1200 AD. That's 800 years after the Maya had already developed their system. Here's what makes this even more impressive. The Maya developed this independently. They didn't borrow it from India or Arabia. They figured it out on their own. Second, astronomical precision that defies belief. Here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. The Maya calculated the length of a solar year as 365.2420 days. Modern science tells us it's 365.22422 days. They were off by just 0.0002 days. That's 17 seconds per year. Without telescopes, without computers, without any of the instruments we consider essential for astronomy. Their observations of Venus were so accurate they could predict its movements centuries in advance. They tracked eclipse cycles with mathematical precision that European astronomers wouldn't match until well into the Renaissance. European astronomers in 1000 AD were still debating whether the Earth was the center of the universe. The Maya had already mapped celestial movements and integrated them into their architectural planning. Chichen Itza's pyramid creates the famous shadow serpent during the equinox. This wasn't decorative. This was calculated architectural astronomy that required precise understanding of solar movements. Third, water management that solved urban challenges. While European cities were struggling with basic sanitation, Maya engineers were building sophisticated water management systems that controlled entire watersheds. Take Palenque. Maya engineers diverted rivers, built pressurized water systems, and created aqueducts that supplied fresh water to thousands of residents. But here's the genius part. They didn't just move water, they managed it systematically. During rainy seasons, their systems prevented devastating floods. During droughts, they stored water in massive underground reservoirs called chultuns that could sustain populations for months. Archaeological evidence shows these systems worked for centuries. European cities in 1000 AD were still dealing with waste disposal by throwing it into the streets. The Maya had solved urban water management challenges that European cities wouldn't master until much later periods. Fourth, medical knowledge that saved lives. Maya healers were performing surgical procedures that European physicians couldn't imagine attempting. Archaeological evidence from skeletal remains shows they performed successful cranial surgeries. Patients survived these operations and lived for years afterward. The bone healing patterns proved these weren't just ritual procedures. Their dental work was both functional and sophisticated. Maya nobles had jade and obsidian dental inlays that served both aesthetic and oral health purposes. Their pharmacological knowledge was extraordinary. They used over 3,000 plant species for medicinal purposes. Many of these plants are still recognized in modern medicine today. European medicine in the Middle Ages relied heavily on bloodletting and religious intervention. Maya medicine combined surgical skill, extensive pharmaceutical knowledge, and anatomical understanding that represented genuine medical advancement. Fifth, a writing system. More sophisticated than you'd expect. The Maya created the most advanced writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas. Their script combined logographic and syllabic elements. Each glyph could represent a complete word, a syllable, or a complex concept. This flexibility allowed them to record everything from historical events to mathematical calculations. While literacy rates in medieval Europe remained extremely low, Maya scribes were documenting complex astronomical observations, historical chronicles, and mathematical data with remarkable precision. The Dresden Codex contains eclipse tables that remained accurate for centuries. These calculations required mathematical sophistication that European scholars wouldn't achieve until the late medieval period. The integrated approach that changed everything. These weren't isolated discoveries scattered across different fields. The Maya integrated mathematics, astronomy, engineering, medicine, and writing into a unified approach to understanding their world. They understood that knowledge worked best when different disciplines supported each other. Their calendars required mathematical precision. Their architecture demanded astronomical accuracy. Their medical practices needed careful documentation. This interdisciplinary thinking represented a scientific methodology that Europe wouldn't systematically develop until the scientific revolution of the 1600s. Why this challenges everything we think we know. The Maya proved that human genius isn't limited by time period, geographical location, or the tools available. They achieved scientific breakthroughs through systematic observation, mathematical thinking, and careful methodology. Their innovations weren't lucky accidents. They were the result of sustained intellectual effort across generations. This challenges our assumptions about progress and civilization. Innovation doesn't follow a straight line from primitive to advanced. Different civilizations can achieve remarkable breakthroughs independently. What other assumptions about ancient civilizations might be completely wrong? Comment below with the Maya achievement that surprised you most. Was it their mathematical precision, their astronomical accuracy, or something else entirely? If this changed how you think about ancient civilizations, hit that subscribe button. We're exploring more hidden histories that challenge conventional thinking about human progress. Remember, genius isn't about when or where you live. It's about how carefully you observe and how systematically you think. The Maya figured that out centuries before Europe caught on.